There was no script, I mean, me and Rachid, we met. We decided we wanted to work together, and then he went off and he had this idea about immigration, and so then he started to do a lot of research and scouting, and then we started to discuss it. We'd have a lot of meetings. Then he had a script, and we started talking about the script, and he scouted for over a year, which is unusual, and then this movie was developed. So it was actually written for me. I think that's occurred a number of times. Like I said, with Ghost Dog, the character was written for me. With My Own Love Song with Olivia Dahan, it was also a meeting, and we decided we wanted to work together, and then the movie was developed out of that.
Were you familiar with the Alain Delon film, which seems to be more of an inspiration for this rather than this being remade from it?
Rachid gave me the film, so I watched the movie. And it's obviously I didn't really base my character on that. I based it more on the script that he wrote. It's actually it's funny. It's like the second time I guess I've done a film that Alain Delon was the lead in. I mean, because Ghost Dog is in some ways loosely based on Les Samurai, and this film on that other film. So
the film was shot in a very particular part of your country. What did you learn from that part that you didn't knew before?
Well, I've been in border states only in like California, mostly with the border to Tijuana, Baja California. It was quite different, to see the wall, to live in this desert, which is very, very special. I think the desert has a lot of power, and especially when you go into a story of mystery and discovery, So I guess I learned about the immigration issues and about the place itself by working on this film.
How did you survive the dust? The dust all the time. I was thinking about that.
We had a number of dust
motorbike
storms, yeah.
and dust.
The dust storms were such that sometimes traffic would have to stop because they couldn't see ahead of them, And on the bike, it's very precarious to be riding that bike on the sand, on the roads that have a lot of sand and the winds, But I didn't take a big dive, so I was okay.
How long did it take to create this character? It's a little bit when we see the movie, it's a little bit like he's like a walking volcano, and you ask yourself, that he could erupt in the next scene or could break out. So where did you find him? And this?
I mean, I kind of wrote out his past and his history of violence that he came from, and violence that he had inside of him, and the anger and the pain. And then I would try to suppress that downward by his choice of beliefs, because he was from a violent environment and put into a more violent environment in the prison, And then he was released. So he found a way to find some form of peace and order in his religion and his beliefs. And so that helped me know that how I was going to suppress it was by practicing, my religion, And unfortunately, the pressures from the outside became so great, that sort of box inside of him that he kept covered started to open up until finally it overflowed, I guess.
But to create such a troubled soul in a way, is it joyful for you or painful in a way?
Joyful. The discovery is interesting. I'm always trying to take these characters that we see one way, the mask that we see, and unveil them. And so I'm trying to pull away all the layers of the issues and the pains and the things in their lives that let you go down to source, which source is just purity, you know what I mean? And then the rest of experiences cover it up. And so that journey is very exciting to me. It can be difficult, you know what I mean? But it's why I do what I do.